Hello everyone and welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy and today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the half treble stitch, which is in UK terms. It's a half double in the US, and for this video I'm going to use this Cello Wools Oceanic yarn in an Aran weight, and I'll be using a 6.5mm crochet hook so that you can see me. I think it's a little easier to see when it's a larger size. So we're going to start with a slip knot. So how I do my slip knots is a little different, but the way I was taught by my mum all those years ago is to make a loop, go around it to the back and through and pull it, and then you can tighten it off. So we have got quite a large tail, so I always like to leave a large tail to sew in. And for our chain, we're just going to simply do a small swatch. So it is yarn around the hook and pull through, and that's a chain. Yarn around the hook and pull through, yarn around the hook and pull through. So I'm just going to do some chain until we have a swatch size. Doesn't really matter how many we do. Let's just do a few more. Okay, I think that's big enough. So for the half treble, it's not a large stitch. I always just do the one turning chain. So we're going to ignore this first chain on our hook. This loop doesn't count, so this is the first chain. And for a half treble, we yarn over and we go into our chain or our stitch, and we yarn over and pull up a loop. So we'll have 3 loops on our hook, then we yarn over and pull through all 3 of those. And that's as simple as that. That is a half treble. So it's yarn over into the next chain, yarn over and pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and yarn over into the next chain, yarn over and pull through a loop. We've got 3 on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Now I really like the half treble stitch because it's not an overly tall stitch, and as you can see it's not particularly holey between, but it is nice and substantial, so it grows quite quickly, and I just like the way it looks as well. So it's yarn over into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. I'll get some more yarn out. It's very difficult when it's very short. Just pull some more out. So we're going to do that all the way to the end. I'm going to hold that in my finger because I find it easier to control. Yarn over into the next chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, and just repeat until the end. Nice and simple. And that's the half treble, and I really like the half treble. I make quite a lot of hats in the half treble stitch. So yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, and we just carry on until we get to the end of that. I'm going to speed up a little bit so I can show you how we get, what happens when we get to the end. So that's it, that's the last one. And I always just like the one chain to turn. I find 2 chains is too tall, but it does depend on how you crochet and the pattern that you're following. But I find that quite often, if I'm doing a treble stitch and it says to do 3 chains at the end, 2 is sufficient for me. I don't like it to bulge out at the side, because sometimes you'll notice when you're crocheting that you'll have these kind of bulges at the side of it. It'll kind of do it every other row because that's your turning chain, and that to me just tells me that the turning chain is too loose. So for the next row we go into our first stitch. I don't go into that last one there, that's a turning chain. So it's yarn over into the stitch, yarn over and pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and we just simply carry on all the way to the end of the row, going into our next stitch along. So if you look to the top, you can see your stitches, each stitch there. So if you get confused, which you shouldn't do because it's nice and obvious here on this one. And when I get to the end, because I go only into the one turning chain, I may show you how I go into the end. So I'll just speed up, and I'm going to get stuck. It's a little, I like this yarn, I must admit, but it does tend to stick a little bit. It kind of wants to split, but it's nice and soft. I bought quite a bit of this. I was going to make a throw to go over my settee, and I haven't used it yet. This is the first time, but it does seem nice and chunky. I actually got a little bit too much there. Drop that. So now we've reached the end, and here's our last stitch. So there's the turning chain down there. Go into that last stitch and chain 1 to turn the work. And see, if I show you then, it's a nice straight edge. It's hard to see at the moment because there is only 2, but you don't have that bulging out to the side, which can be very annoying. So 1 chain to turn into the first stitch, and continue with the half treble. It's strange at this angle. Don't usually crochet at this angle. But that's a nice simple stitch, nice chunky little stitches. I find go very well on scarves and hats and mittens, that sort of thing. If I'm making anything for a baby, I tend not to try not to make treble crochets. I just find them too long, and little fingers can easily get into them and stick out. So I like this stitch for babies especially. But so that's basically it. That's you just keep going in that vein. So it's yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and all 3 loops. That's the half treble. Thank you very much for watching. If I could ask you to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you hit that notification bell, then it'll let you know when there's a new video. But I hope that's helped you, and that's all for now, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.